Hello everyone, welcome to the stream for those of you just tuning in, and that includes myself. My name is Marlon, and this is episode 55 of Mushroom Sitting in Minecraft. Folks, today is Monday, July 28th, 2025. Now, what's been going on lately? Okay, before I can get to that, how you guys doing? Anybody having a good day, or hoping you guys have better days ahead? For me, well, it's just one of those days, it's Monday and you wish that you had longer weekends, all that shit, but Well, right now all I can say is, folks, that right now it is 93 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies, and today we had about 95 degrees for the high, and for the low of 72. For tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, there will be some chances of thunderstorms, with Tuesday reaching a high of 97 and a low of 77, and Wednesday a high of 90 and a low of 82, Thursday high 84, low of 75, and on Saturday, there are temperatures for the high that will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. And for the low, temperatures will be in the low 70s, and Sunday, clear skies with a high of 82 and a low of 70. But that's just what it said, but however, I'd rather show you guys what I got on my end. Alright, now without further ado, let's just get to it and not waste any more time. I'm a little late on that, folks, so I deeply apologize for that. I had to go to the bathroom and didn't realize that, oh no, my stream's coming up, so it was an emergency though. There are two tornado warnings in South Dakota, 19 severe thunderstorm warnings in South Dakota, Montana, North Dakota, and Canada. 7 flash flood warnings in New Mexico, Michigan, Texas, and Ohio. And there is 1 special marine warning in Florida. 20 special weather statements in Ohio, Indiana, Montana, Colorado, Georgia, Indiana, Tennessee, Montana, Nebraska, Oregon, South Carolina. There are 58 extreme heat warnings, 1 dense fog advisory, and that is located along the New Hampshire beaches and the coastal communities there, from Portsmouth all the way to Seabrook, New Hampshire. There are 22 air quality alerts. $39 flood warnings and 5 red flag warnings. Alright, let's try to make this quick, but I will play the radar for you guys just to see what's going on throughout places like the Northeast. So, what do we got? Well, as you can see, folks, there's plenty of action in the northwestern corner of Pennsylvania, particularly in Erie and the surrounding areas, but, well, it's mainly dry for now, but that could change in the next few minutes. Then, we have plenty of warnings. There's dense fog advisory, as I said, just located on the coastal part of New Hampshire. Air quality alerts are in effect throughout Delaware up until the coastal part of Connecticut, parts of the Hudson Valley, particularly Westchester and Rockland counties. Well, actually, I think that place is but that, yeah, Westchester County, Rockland County, Long Island, greater New York City area, and New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, and in northeastern New Jersey, there is an excessive heat warning that's in effect right now on top of the air quality alerts right now. Well, because of the wildfires and also because of the heat wave, urban air pollution, all that stuff. Excuse me. Let me grab a quick sip. All right. Elsewhere, you have some pockets of showers and a few storms located in the southwestern part of Virginia and about to be western Virginia, just to the west of Charleston, West Virginia. As well as the extreme heat warnings, all that heat's giving way to storms that are approaching the Mountaineer State. Extreme heat warnings are in effect throughout eastern North Carolina, down to coastal South Carolina, coastal Georgia, and central part of Georgia. But, however, there are also some thunderstorms that are making its way down south towards the Carolinas, Georgia, and even parts of Tennessee right now. Now, there is a big area of high pressure at the surface over in West Virginia, in the Appalachian Mountains, as well as Tennessee. But right now, all I'm seeing is that eastern Tennessee and even southwestern western Tennessee, they have a few isolated thunderstorms with a special weather statement just located in Linden, Tennessee. And another special weather statement just southeast of Macon, south of in Dublin. And you also have some extreme heat warnings in Florida, particularly in Jacksonville, all the way down on Palm Coast, just north of Daytona Beach. Sorry about that. Elsewhere throughout the Sunshine State, you do have easterly winds pushing some storms in places like the west coast of Florida, from the Everglades, Marco Island, and Key West, all the way to the Tampa Bay area. Pop-up storms in parts of the Panhandle, isolated ones, especially in Alabama, Mississippi. But in Mississippi, there are plenty of extreme heat warnings, as you can see, as well as areas around Lake Pontchartrain, particularly New Orleans, Hammond, Slidell, and anywhere east of Baton Rouge. And there are also some extreme heat warnings in northeastern Louisiana, anywhere east of Monroe, as well as eastern Arkansas and Fort Smith, all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma. A few pockets of thunderstorms in the southern Louisiana, but it's not widespread though, as well as Arkansas. Well, as we go to Texas, well, you're not seeing much in Texas except for plenty of some action in western Texas. You have a flash flood warning located in Fort Davis, Texas. A lot of heavy rains in those parts of western Texas. Elsewhere, nothing much going on except for some air quality alerts in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I've already discussed Tulsa in northeastern Oklahoma dealing with extreme heat warnings. And that extreme heat warnings not only extend to the lower Mississippi Valley, but also at the intersection of the Mississippi and Ohio valleys, rivers, I mean. Regardless, plenty of extreme heat warnings in western Kentucky, southwestern Indiana, southern Illinois, and southeastern Missouri. Special weather statements have been issued in southern Indiana and just outside of Cincinnati on the Kentucky side. And there are extreme heat warnings in the southern tip of Ohio and northeast Kentucky. There are plenty of thunderstorms throughout the Ohio Valley. They're moving to the east-southeast. There are plenty of storms lingering throughout the Ohio Valley. We had some storms in the Chicago area moving to southeast, but right now it's just outside the city and affecting the south side of the Windy City. Indianapolis, they're in the clear for now. The storms are affecting places like Cleveland, Akron, Canton, parts of Toledo. There are flash flood warnings in between Cleveland and Toledo. And there's also a severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, but that's in Canada, just east of Detroit. But in Detroit, there are 2 flash flood warnings that have been issued there. Anywhere that's between Columbus and Cleveland, beware of any heavy rains, thunderstorms, flash floods, because those are very dangerous. Special marine warnings are located in Michigan, just offshore from Bay City. And I've already said that there is one special marine warning. There was supposed to be one in Sarasota, but that may have been lifted. Grand Rapids, for the past 3 hours, they've been enduring some showers and thunderstorms for the most part, especially just north of Bay City, north of Mount Pleasant. A few thunderstorms, pop-up thunderstorms in the northern half of the lower peninsula of Michigan. Upper Peninsula, quite clear for the past 3 hours, maybe a little bit just right around Sault Ste. Marie. Wisconsin, for the past 3 hours, they haven't gotten much going on. I mean, storm clouds that have rolled into the Badger State, that's gone. Just a little bit that's just entered through northwestern Wisconsin, but no biggie. But there are some passing showers and clouds, maybe a few rumbles of thunder in northern Minnesota, given that there are air quality alerts associated with wildfires coming from Canada. I mean, as you can see, that's all the details they have at the moment. I don't know if I already mentioned this back in the city, but let's just be on the safe side. I mean, they just advise people to take precautions about poor air quality. And overall, there is a cold front that goes through the Great Lakes, transitioning into a stationary front, sneaking through Iowa, the Dakotas, Wyoming, and the Northern Rockies. Severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued in parts of South Dakota all the way to southeastern North Dakota. Flood warnings have been issued in the southwestern part of Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, eastern Iowa, the banks of the Mississippi in northern Missouri, as well as central Missouri as well, and near Hutchinson, Kansas. Extreme heat warnings also have been issued in places like eastern Nebraska, much of Iowa, and southeastern South Dakota. There are also some severe thunderstorm warnings and special weather statements in north central Nebraska, given that there are some storms that are still there in the Dakotas and the northern plains. It's going to be a rough night for those people there. Now, what about a tornado warning, folks? There should be one right around here. It's cluttered with so much warnings. And we're going to have a quick look, folks, right now. So let me turn on the local radar right now. Near Sioux Falls. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, so the nearest one is right there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Wind's moving that direction. The green means moving towards the radar. The yellow and red represents moving away from the radar. So basically, there is rotation, and we're going to play the animation just a little bit for now. Let me take a quick sip, folks. Hey Isabella, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day so far. Mine's a little tiresome, but I'm alright for the most part. Right now, as you can see, it looks like as though it may be moving to the southeast area of rotation, which does signal tornado activity. And I think that could be the hook echo, as you can see. A bit of a hook echo, and where the debris is, if there's any debris, using the correlation coefficient, the blue ones represent foreign objects, the red ones represent some rain. So how's it going today, Isabella? You had a good day or something? For me, my weekend was uneventful. was just me staying home much of the time, doing all that shopping stuff, but let's see what we got. Okay, now I can turn back to here and also change back to the overall radar. Play that again, but this time I'm actually going to start moving to a different part of the country. North Dakota, they had some rain in the central part of the state, moving towards Grand Forks, entering Minnesota. Then, as we move to the Rockies, some convection has led to some pop-up thunderstorms in the northern Rockies, Bitterroot Mountains, moving to the northeast, affecting places like Great Falls, Lewistown. All that has led to some strong to severe thunderstorms in those areas in the center part of Montana. It's right along this stationary front that's in position in the northern Rockies. It's kind of parallel across the mountain range. A few thunderstorms in northwestern Wyoming, especially central Idaho, and especially in much of Oregon. There are some thunderstorms that have just popped up and are moving to the northeast. Let's see what we got. So we go to the Great Basin states and the Colorado Rockies, where there are some thunderstorms. In New Mexico, plenty of which one flash flood warning in the southwestern part of the state. As you can see, some strong thunderstorms right between Santa Fe and Albuquerque, as well as just outside of Alamogordo, with a flash flood warning that's been posted near Carrizozo, just southwest of town. There are some strong thunderstorms there. Could be some possible hail and damaging winds. In Nevada and Colorado and Utah, let's check. We got red flag warnings in southwestern Utah, and the Grand Canyon has an extreme heat warning right now. A few pop-up thunderstorms occurring in the Rocky Mountains in the past 3 hours, though. And not much going on in Utah, Nevada, a few pop-up thunderstorms, but it's nothing widespread, just a little bit isolated. Especially to southeast of Reno, California. Not much in the southern half of the state. Northern half, red flag warnings have been issued in some parts of northern California. Right around Redding, a few thunderstorms, especially around the Sierra Nevadas, just south of Reno. And there's also a special weather statement indicating some thunderstorms, but it'll expire in 10 minutes. Wind gusts could be up to 30 miles an hour, pea-sized hail. We go up north towards Oregon, where there are red flag warnings in the south central part of the state. I did mention that there are some storms that are popping up throughout much of Oregon, heading to the northeast. Washington State throughout the past 3 hours, not much going on. Now we will transition to... Just transition right now to here. Okay, there we go. So let me pull up something right now, because thing is that I need to be able to read the chat. By the way, I do custom graphics for streamers, like logo overlays, emotes, VTubers, etc. and affordable prices. Do you want some for you? Thank you, Isabella, but right now I'm all good at the moment. I mean, I'm not really looking forward to, being, big on Twitch at the moment. But I do appreciate your inquiry. But I mean, you can you can probably tune into more streams. I got plenty of which. I stream on weekends, usually from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and some weekdays in a similar timeline. It just depends on my schedule, but on some other days I'm also busy. Alright, so now let's see what we got throughout the Northeast. Basically, it's mostly light and variable for the most part throughout much of the Northeast, but along the lake shores in upstate New York, winds are moving to the Northeast, but some parts like northwestern Adirondacks, they're moving at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And we're going to check on the coastal parts, also light and variable for the most part. When it comes to light and variable winds, during heat waves, that tends to make the air so stagnant. And when there's stagnant air, especially when emissions are there, it just makes the air so unhealthy. And the heat is not helping. If you know what I mean. Alright. But temperature-wise, throughout the Northeast, as you can see, New England has temperatures in the mid-70s to upper 80s. Going into upstate New York, temperatures are in the 80s. The greater New York City area, temperatures are in the mid-80s to mid-90s. Pennsylvania, temperatures are in the 80s. But in places like Philadelphia, about low to mid-90s. Then we go to the Mid-Atlantic, where you have Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and the Washington, D.C. area. Temperatures are in the 80s to mid-90s. West Virginia, temperatures are in the 80s. Then we go down to the Carolinas and the Southeast. Well, you're not seeing much, folks. It's somewhat light and variable in the Carolinas, parts of Georgia, but... Oh, yeah, in eastern Tennessee. But as you can see, Tennessee, on the western side, winds moving to the southeast for the time being. Alabama, Mississippi, winds are moving to the southeast, but Tennessee and Alabama, Mississippi, winds are moving at no more than 20 miles an hour, especially Georgia and parts of the Carolinas. Places like right around Charlotte, winds are moving to the south, but only moving at up to 20 miles an hour. Temperatures throughout the Carolinas, Tennessee. Okay, so the Outer Banks of North Carolina, they are in the 80s, but throughout the rest of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, temperatures are in the 90s. Georgia, temperatures are in the 90s to low hundreds. Alabama, Mississippi, temperatures are in the 90s. Sorry about that, folks, but I have no control over that. Then we go down to Florida, where you have, in the Panhandle of Florida, you have northwesterly winds moving up to 20 miles an hour, but on the shores, winds are moving to the east, moving up to 20 miles an hour. Light and variable winds in the northern part of the peninsula of Florida, but down south, winds are actually coming from the east generally. But on the Atlantic side, winds blowing up to 20 miles an hour, a little lighter on the western side. Temperature and the Keys, winds moving to the southwest, moving up to 20 miles an hour. The Keys, the entire state of Florida, temperatures are in the mid-80s to low hundreds. Jacksonville has reached 100. Oh, and get this, Tampa has reached 100 degrees for the first time yesterday. So that was the attention that I've been giving this whole time. Well, not really, but I had a hunch that something like that was going to happen. Now we move on to Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. While you do see a clockwise flow of winds, light and variable winds for the most part, most of Louisiana, Arkansas, much of the state, winds moving to the east, moving up to 10 to 15 miles an hour. Oklahoma, winds are moving generally to the north or north-northeast, but on the western side and the panhandle of Oklahoma, winds are moving up to 20 to 30 miles an hour. Texas, you can see, eastern side, light and variable winds, but most of Texas winds are moving to the north-northwest. Western side, panhandle, winds are moving up to 20 to 30 miles per hour, but a little faster near Ciudad Acuña. Regardless, temperatures in Louisiana and Arkansas, they are in the 90s to low hundreds. Oklahoma, upper 80s to mid 90s. Texas, temperatures are in the upper mid 80s to upper 90s. It's quite hot down south, folks. Much of the country is dealing with the heat. Now we go to the Ohio Valley. So you can see, well, winds that are coming from the northwest in northern Illinois, they're shifting to the east. Southern Illinois, in southern Indiana, and much of Ohio, winds moving to the east, but shifting to the north towards Cleveland. Northern half of Indiana, winds are coming from the northwest, blowing up to 15 miles an hour. The rest of Illinois and Indiana, winds blowing up to 20 miles an hour. Kentucky, winds are moving generally to the east, some parts light and variable, moving up to 20 miles per hour elsewhere, particularly along the Ohio Valley, along the river valley. Ohio, winds are also moving up to 20 miles an hour. Temperatures throughout the entire Ohio Valley, and that includes Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. Temperatures are in the low 80s to mid 90s. Now we go to Great Lakes region, light and variable winds throughout much of Wisconsin, but on the lake shores of Lake Michigan along Wisconsin, particularly like right from Milwaukee all the way to Green Bay, winds are coming from the Lake Michigan, blowing up to 20 miles an hour. Michigan, lower peninsula of Michigan, especially upper peninsula of Michigan. Hold on a minute, folks. For those of you who are new here, I really don't have a Discord at this moment, Isabella. I don't know if you can hear me. I forgot to unmute the mic. Apparently background noise is at it again. But I forgot to type, actually. I forgot to unmute the mic, so sorry about that, folks. Anyway, if you guys are visual, then you guys know that there is plenty of action throughout parts of the South, the Northern Plains, Northern Rockies, and parts, and especially parts of the desert Southwest. If I failed to mention anything, I'm deeply sorry about that, folks. Forgot to turn off, I forgot to unmute the mic, folks. I'm deeply sorry. But in case if you haven't heard, Isabella, I'm not really interested in custom graphics. Now let's get back to the upper level wins. So as you can see, we do have plenty of heat that's going on throughout the South, throughout much of the country. You get this upper level high that's situated all across the South Central part of the country. There's a trough over California, and there is a big ridge over the Missouri River Valley, which means plenty of wet weather to go around throughout the Great Basin, Northern Rockies, especially in the Northern Plains. But this one, just a little bit of storms in parts of the Ohio Valley, but only because there's a tiny bit of trough located in the northeastern corner of the Great Lakes region. We go to tomorrow night, 24 hours from now, where the upper level high begins to weaken just a bit, particularly on the east side. And all of that is going to lead to a trough that's over California, especially on the eastern ridge of... Well, no, not eastern ridge. I don't know why I said that. There's going to be a ridge over the east coast, another one over the mid-Mississippi Valley, which means there could be some wet weather and some storms throughout the Great Basin, Northern Rockies, especially the Great Plains, and especially parts of the Great Basin, if I failed to mention that. Now we go to 24 hours from that, so it'll be Wednesday night, so there's going to be a ridge. It's going to build up in the Northern Rockies, trough over California, and there's going to be some trough over the upper Mississippi Valley, which means that there could be some wet weather by Wednesday night. Some storms will occur there, especially in the Great Basin, Northern Rockies. And also an upper level high over Texas, which means there could be something in New Mexico. And I think there is another upper level high over the southeast, which means more storms in the southeast, actually. And finally, by Thursday night, there's going to be a ridge over the Colorado Rockies, and a trough over the west coast, another trough over the Great Lakes region, which means there are going to be some storms throughout the Northern Rockies, parts of the Great Basin, Desert Southwest, and even parts of the Northeast, too. Alright, so now let's go back to... Oh, wait! Let's not forget about the tropics. Nothing much, folks. Hate to tell you. Oh, wait. I don't hate to tell you because who cares about storms? Hold on. Let's go back to Radar Omega, and we're going to talk about the 3-day forecast. Alright, what do we got here for tomorrow morning? We got plenty of warm lows throughout much of the East Coast, the Mississippi Valley, and just a little bit in southern Arizona. Cooler temperatures for the morning hours in the Great Basin, the Rockies, Bitterroot Mountains. And what about by tomorrow night? There's going to be a lot of heat located throughout much of the Great Plains except for the Dakotas. Plenty of heat in the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Basin, Desert Southwest, California, leeward side of the Cascades. Cooler temperatures in a few spots in Idaho and Colorado Rockies. Wednesday morning, there's going to be plenty of warm lows throughout much of the East Coast, the Mississippi Valley, Desert Southwest, chilly temperatures in the Rockies. By Wednesday night, it's going to be a lot of heat throughout the Mid-Atlantic, all the way down to Florida, and even the south central part of the country. Desert Southwest, California, Great Basin, leeward side of the Cascades will get some heat. And when I mean some heat, I mean a lot of heat. It doesn't really mean that all the time, but regardless, it's going to be very hot. It's going to be damn hot. They're cooking. They're cooking, boy. I'm kidding. Thursday morning, plenty of heat. Oh, well, plenty of warm lows throughout parts of the East Coast all the way down to Florida, especially the lower Mississippi Valley, Desert Southwest. Plenty of chilly temperatures throughout the throughout the Rockies. I mean, parts of the Great Basin. By Thursday night, plenty of heat throughout the south, but the worst heat's in Texas and Louisiana. Desert Southwest, Great Basin, a lot of heat. Leeward side of the Cascades too. Front range of the Rockies, but not in the mountainous parts. Just on the eastern side. Oh yeah, but let's not forget about chilly temperatures in the interior part of the Northeast. Now we go back to tomorrow morning where we discuss humidity. It's quite humid anywhere east of the Rockies, plus Desert Southwest. A little bit of humidity in the West Coast for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night. Same ordeal east of the Rockies. Similar ordeal in the Rockies for tomorrow night, but except it's going to be dry throughout the southwestern part of the Great Plains and western Texas too. A little bit still humid in the Desert Southwest, especially in the West Coast. It's quite humid. Wednesday morning, humidity still lingering around, but not in Texas and not in the Dakotas, northern plains. Plenty of humidity in the Desert Southwest. And less humid in parts of the West Coast. Wednesday night, it's going to be very humid. Anywhere east of the Mississippi. Especially right between the Mississippi and the Rockies, except for Texas and the northern plains. Hold on a minute, folks. All right. Back to work. Elsewhere, you have humidity throughout Montana and as well as the Desert Southwest. Plenty of humidity to go around throughout parts of the West Coast. Then you have Lots of humidity anywhere east of the Rockies, except for the northern plains, parts of Texas. Less humid in the Great Lakes region, northern and interior New England. More humidity still lingering around throughout the desert Southwest, especially on the West Coast. And finally, by Thursday night, there's going to be humidity only in places like from Florida all the way to Massachusetts, the Ohio Valley, rest of the South, but western Texas is not getting humid. The rest, although there is plenty of humidity throughout the Great Plains, northern plains, not so, northern Great Lakes region, not going to happen. Montana, it's going to be humid, a little bit humid in the desert Southwest. Parts of the West Coast will get very humid. Now let's go back and discuss about convection. The CAPE. CAPE stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, which means that this is about upward motion in the atmosphere from the surface to aloft. For tomorrow morning, there's going to be a lot of convection throughout the Gulf Coast, and all the way to the Mississippi Valley, and west central part of the Great Plains. Some convection will occur all over the East Coast. Tomorrow night, deep convection, folks, all across the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, Florida. Hold on a minute. All right. There's also convection in the west central part of the Great Plains. And there's more convection, but just located in the megalopolis part of the country, from Washington all the way to New York City. Let's go to Wednesday morning. Lots of convection throughout Florida, the Mississippi Valley, some convection along the East Coast, especially in the Front Range of the Rockies, parts of the desert Southwest, especially in the Sierra Nevadas, parts of the Cascades. All right, so now let's talk about what's going on with Wednesday night. There's going to be a lot of convection throughout the Southeast, Mississippi, and Ohio valleys, the New York City area. Some convection throughout the Rockies and much of the Pacific Northwest in general. Thursday morning, a lot of convection in the Carolina coast, especially in Arkansas and the Ozarks. A little bit of convection in the Rocky Mountains, and even parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Ohio Valley too. And finally, Thursday night, there's a lot of upward motion in the south central part of the country. The rest of the South will get a lot of convection going, especially in the Western Plains, Northern Rockies. We go back, and now we're going to discuss any precipitation. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be quite stormy throughout parts of the South. It's quite isolated. A lot of storms throughout the Great Lakes region, Northern Plains. A few cloud showers and storms from New Mexico all the way to Montana. Stray clouds and showers throughout the coastal part of the West Coast. Some parts. Tuesday night, some clouds will build throughout parts of the interior Northeast, but there's going to be a lot of storms throughout the South. More storms could be severe throughout the Northern Plains, parts of the Rockies, Bitterroot Mountains, and even some parts of the Great Basin too. Wednesday morning, there's going to be some cloud showers and a few storms throughout much of the south. More storms in the Great Plains region. A few cloud showers throughout the northern Rockies, Colorado Rockies, Dakotas, and especially in the Sierra Nevadas, eastern Oregon. A few stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the west coast. In the coastal side, though, for Wednesday night, there's going to be a lot of clouds and storms throughout parts of the Northeast, all the way down to Florida, and more storms throughout the South, the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region, Mississippi Valley, Great Plains, a few cloud showers and storms, especially more of them in the Rockies from New Mexico all the way to Montana, Bitterroot Mountains, and especially the Cascades. Some storms will build up. Now let's focus on what's going on for Thursday morning. Still leftover clouds and showers. Maybe a few storms, especially on the Great Lakes region. On the south side, though. Hold on a minute. Alright, so now continuing on. A few cloud showers and storms throughout much of the south, especially in New Mexico, and a few storms still occurring throughout the Dakotas. And storms, a few cloud showers and storms in the Pacific Northwest. A few scattered clouds, stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the West Coast, and especially ones in the desert Southwest. And finally, we have a lot of storms throughout the Northeast, folks, especially in parts of the South, in Florida. More cloud showers and storms throughout the Rockies, especially in parts of the Pacific Northwest and parts of the Great Basin too. Alright folks, we're done with the national weather discussion. I deeply apologize in case you guys haven't heard me throughout much of the first half of the stream, because I forgot to unmute the mic, which I deeply apologize for that, folks. But anyway, I did show you guys the current conditions, but the main important part was the part where I discuss the 3-day forecast for you guys. Okay, so what now? Well, the stream ends at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but now we're going to focus on Minecraft. So without further ado, folks, let's move on to Minecraft right about now. But let me turn on the radar so that you guys will see what's going on with radar in the next hour or so. And without further ado, let's get on with Minecraft right about now. And the word of the day by Minecraft is, don't look directly at the bugs. Really. Yeah, I mean, sure, sometimes bugs do run away. I mean, only because they're probably attracted to the way their antennas work sometimes, since depending on some species of bugs, their antennas can pick up visible light coming from our eyes. But then again, I would need to look that up. I mean, could be, but I would need to ask someone else. Does anyone, no, but you know what? I might as well just go ahead and just ask. Let's see, generally insects do not use their antenna to use in the same way that humans use their eyes to perceive visible light. But, actually, no, insect antenna doesn't pick up eyesight. But still. Yeah, I guess that means, well, I'm looking it up, folks, and all I can see is that I don't know why these kinds of glitches make me feel so uncomfortable. Yeah, don't look directly at the bugs. It actually means that it's a warning or instruction within a. Oh, it's it's just some vague saying in Minecraft, known as a colloquialism, referring to in-game glitches or errors. Oh, so that's what they mean. Computer bugs. Right. Yep. Computer bugs. Computer bugs. All right, now continuing where we left off. So I believe that this is Northwest Northwest 25th Avenue. That's where we are right now. Now we're going to continue where we left off. So how you guys doing on this day? It is 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hope you guys had a good day. Or maybe you guys have better days ahead. For me, I'm just tired, but streaming, just makes me feel good. Now, what am I going to talk about? Well, I don't want to vent, for a while. So I've already done, I've already done too much of that. But I guess maybe I can start talking about, again, with One Piece. I mean, there's this one thing that came to mind, which happens to be this set of laughters, from One Piece. Different characters have their way of laughing so differently. Like, there's this guy, well, rather, there are the two emperors named Kaido and Big Mom. Kaido laughs like this. Rah, 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 rah. And then you have Big Mom, who laughs like, Mama, Mama. And then there's this guy named Caesar Clown. He laughs. Or, let's see. Oh, yeah, and the most notable laughs was during the Thriller Bark arc, in which you have Perona laughing like. And then you have Gecko Moria, one of the warlords. He laughs. That's like the creepiest laugh I've ever heard. And also, there's this guy with glasses, kind of looks like Ozzy Osbourne. And he laughs like, Force, 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 Force. I don't know, they have such weird laughters. And then there's the guy, the big guy who helped rescue Robin and had to get Robin to leave Ohara. Because the island was being reduced to ash and burst into flames. Yeah, the big guy, he laughs. And then there's Apu. And I'm not talking about the one from The Simpsons. I'm talking about like a different Apu that spells Apoo. And he laughs like, ah, ba, 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 For those of you who are new to One Piece, you're more than welcome to watch One Piece with me. And you can tell me all about it. Okay, so now let me see. Now, if you guys are wondering what's my favorite arc in One Piece, my favorite one, drumroll please. Hold on a minute. Actually, my favorite is the Wano arc. Why is that? Well, because the Wano arc, like, it just explains a lot of things. I mean, it tells a lot about the devil fruits and explains the whole thing about Doflamingo and Caesar Clown, Dr. Vegapunk. And it all happens when the buck stops with Kaido. Yep, the buck stops with Kaido because he's the one who has been perpetrating a bunch of crimes. Crimes that include starving the people and feeding the people rejected devil fruits. And when people eat the devil fruit, the rejected ones, they lose their ability to grieve. They stay laughing all the time, even when they lose their friends or get pissed off. That has got to be the most diabolical, the most evil thing that has ever been done in anywhere. So, the whole thing actually started not in Wano. It actually started by the time the Straw Hats entered the New World. It all began with a distress call in a place called Punk Hazard. Then they tried to find. Then they ended up answering the call, and it came from a guy named Kinemon. And the thing is that when they found Kinemon, they actually found him in pieces. And when they found him in pieces, what caused him to be sliced into pieces, even though he was supposed to be dead? Well, that would happen to be Trafalgar Law, one of the warlords at the time. So, the mission for Trafalgar Law would be to take down one of the four emperors of the sea, which would be Kaido, because he's the one responsible for all of what's going on in Punk Hazard, and as well as Doflamingo, which would occur later on. So in Punk Hazard, they managed to find Caesar Clown, because Caesar Clown works for Dr. Vegapunk. And Caesar Clown ate the gas fruit, which means that he would possess the ability to create the most lethal gas, turn people into stone, or just simply kill people. I guess, I have learned or watched a lot of documentaries, and that I've learned that the type of gas that can kill people instantly would be a thing called no, not a gas, or rather a type of gas known as Well, I'm not going to go into controversy because it's so cruel. It's something that's been used in modern history, and I'm not talking about the 21st century. I'm talking about what has occurred during the middle of the 20th century. Anyway, Caesar Clown was one bad dude. So eventually, the Straw Hats managed to save the kids, who ended up eating candy that they had no idea was poison, and that actually contained a type of chemical, a type of ingredient that made kids want to eat more of the candy. But the thing was is that when they eat more candy, they die. They grow big, and then they end up getting separated from their parents. Well, just before the Straw Hats came along in Trafalgar Law 2. So Luffy beat the living shit out of Caesar Clown, saved the kids, but of course, Caesar Clown had accomplices, and especially some of them happen to be the Marine officials. They are part of the Navy and the world government. But of course, the thing is that in order for Caesar Clown to be taken down, Law and Luffy would form an alliance, a pirate alliance. But at the process, that alliance would mean that Trafalgar Law would lose his status as one of the warlords, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. And for those of you who don't know what a warlord is, in One Piece, a warlord is a pirate who works for the world government in exchange for immunity. And that would require that pirate to turn in other pirates. And the Emperors of the Sea, they're the most fiercest of all pirates. Then you have the world government. I mean, you guys are now getting the idea that I may be bringing up fictional politics into this, but at least it's not like real life politics. I mean, I know, like, oh, you're not supposed to get political. Well, actually, in real life, well, if I'm talking about real life politics, then yeah, I should not be talking about it. But if it's fictional, like One Piece, then I have no problem with it. Anyway, what happened is that after the Straw Hats and the Law managed to beat Caesar Clown, they tie him up and held him for hostage as Trafalgar Law. He has total control of his heart using the Yop fruit powers. His double fruit powers known as the Yop fruit. Kids have been saved. They've been returned to their parents, but with the help of the Navy, though. I mean, they had to sail away just so that they don't get caught. So after that, Luffy, the Straw Hats and Law, they make their way to the kingdom of Dressrosa. And what happened is that they would find a guy, one of the warlords named Don Quixote Doflamingo. I really hate that guy, Doflamingo. Doflamingo's like one big pink cockroach. And what happened is that Luffy got distracted by an event because there's this devil fruit known as the fire fruit that Ace ate, but however Ace died. He was killed by who's now Fleet Admiral named Akainu or Sakatsuki. Well, I'd rather call him Akainu because I hate that guy. Yeah, I really wanted to get back at that guy. Akainu, like, for killing Ace. Not cool, dude. Not cool. You gotta pay, for that shit. Even if you think it's justice, it's not. You still gotta pay. Anyway, so the thing is that a devil fruit eater that dies... Yeah, the devil fruit eater who dies ends up having that devil fruit being revived, and then would end up being eaten by another devil fruit eater who is alive. So Luffy, he realized that the fire fruit is there, and that he would need to be the one who would need to win by entering the competition to beat every enemy there is. And what happens is that Luffy did enter the contest. He informed the crew, even though at first the crew was all like, Luffy, what the fuck are you doing? And Luffy had to give his reasons. And as captain, he must. But, however, Doflamingo realized that... the Straw Hats and Law have arrived. So the team split, where you have Zoro and you have Robin, Usopp, and as well as let's see, well, Frankie, those guys are part of Straw Hat, or of Luffy's crew, and Nami is Brook, Chopper, and Sanji. They are guarding the ship. yeah, some of the well, Usopp and I think Frankie, they were with the Tontatas in a place called Greenbit, just some island that's adjacent to Dressrosa, but it's part of Dressrosa regardless. But yet, it's also named Totaland. Yeah, at first the Tontatas were mischievous, but then they ended up taking on ended up in a whole different situation where they hate Doflamingo as much as the Straw Hats. Hold on a minute, folks. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention about Kinemon. So what happened? So Kinemon was put back together, by law, and also he was. Oh yeah, he was with this kid named Momonosuke. And what happens is that he ate the dragon fruit, turned himself into a dragon, but he had no idea because he never really had that power. He actually ate that devil fruit. Hold on a minute, folks. All right, I'm back. And as soon as Kinemon and Momonosuke have been reunited, their plan is to bring back members of the Kosugi clan and return to the land of Wano, but they would need help from the Straw Hats. Not only to reunite the Kosugi clan, but also... oh, no, not the Kosugi clan. Sorry. I mean Kinemon's group, actually. The Kosugi clan is actually Momonosuke's last name. And my apologies, folks, for mixing up the whole Kosugi clan. I should know better by now after watching, the Wano arc, the entirety of which... I know for those of you who watch One Piece that you guys might be thinking that I'm actually spoiling. But, of course, this is for many people who never watch One Piece or never will. Of course, if you guys want to watch One Piece, you could just start from the beginning. It's going to take about more than 1,000 episodes to catch up. I mean, in my case, I rewatched One Piece starting in 2013. It took me a long while because sometimes I would get caught up. I would end up, I get caught up, or oh man, I would end up waiting for the next batch of dubbed episodes to come out. But regardless, I managed to... Hold on a minute, folks. Alright, I'm back. So, anyway, Kinemon has a group of samurai that that aim to kill Kaido, as well as the Straw Hats and Trafalgar Law too. They all have the same goal, which is why they formed an alliance. Okay, so we're done with Northeast 25th Avenue. Now we're moving on to Northeast 20th Avenue. Anyway, Kinemon finds his crew, but however, the situation for the Straw Hats took some turn, and turns out the Don Quixote family found out that the Straw Hats and Law were in town, as well as Kinemon. So that means they begin their assault on the Straw Hats. Hold on a minute. And what happened was that you guys remember just about a few minutes ago that I did say that Brooks, Sanji, Nami, and Chopper were on the ship protecting the Sunny. Well, it turns out that some of the Don Quixote family they begin their attacks on the Sunny along with some members of the crew. And then things get really hairy. The Big Mom pirates, a fleet of Big Mom pirates, show up and start assaulting the Straw Hats and the Don Quixote family. Well, not really though, but only the Straw Hats because Luffy, has a beef with Big Mom because Big Mom didn't really like Luffy eating all her candy. And what happened was that Luffy ordered half of his crew to sail away to the island of Zoa for their safety. Sail faster until they managed to get to the island of Zoe. And then the rest of the crew, what the hell is that? Must be a bolt of lightning. Yeah, we are currently at northwestern... Northwest 20th Avenue. Yep. That's the case, folks. That's the case. So in the meantime, the Straw Hats that remain that remain in Dressrosa, they plan on taking down Doflamingo and the Don Quixote family. Luffy tries to take on as many opponents as possible without having to give himself away. And his alter ego happens to be Lucy. It's quite funny because he didn't want to give away his identity, but however, Doflamingo have already noticed that Luffy is already there because of his abilities. Then, just when Luffy was about to take on was about to finish when he was about to start his final round in the Colosseum, he was surprised and rejoiced by his other adopted brother named Sabo. Boy, that was very touching, actually. All right, now we are at Northwest 20th Avenue, so this is where we begin right now. And they reunited, and Sabo, he manages to remember, because I mean, after he got separated, from Luffy and Ace when they were kids, he lost his memory of the two of them over time. Then when Ace died, the memory of Ace started flooding back to Sabo, and that's when he realized that he would need to reach out to Luffy, and he did join up with the Revolutionary Army, those who are allies of pirates, particularly Straw Hat, because particularly Luffy, because I mean, the head of the Revolutionary Army is Monkey D. Dragon, also known as Luffy's father. Though they haven't really met, but Luffy had no idea before he even knew that he had a father, that he thought he didn't have one. But it turns out he does have a father. He thought his father died, just like his mother. I don't know if that's true, but all I know is that I demand more knowledge and more whereabouts of Luffy's mom. But some people have speculated that one of the leaders of Amazon Lily may happen to be Luffy's mom. And if that were true, and if she's gone, then I guess maybe that was the reason, one of the reasons why Boa Hancock fell in love with Luffy. And that she believed that it was her destiny to be Luffy's wife and to bear his kids, Boa Hancock. But Luffy was as dense as he could possibly be, because he had no idea that she was hitting on him. That was just after a rough start to the two of them, because the fact that Luffy got flung into Amazon Lily. It is 7:32 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Welcome to the stream. For those of you just tuning in, my name is Marlon. This is episode 55 of Mushroom City in Minecraft. Hope you guys having a good day. Hope you guys have better days ahead. For me, all I can say is, folks, is that I'm tired, but I want to keep on streaming for you guys, because streaming is something that makes me want to talk about things, yap all about the weather. You know what I'm saying? Just keep on talking about the weather every day. Every day as a meteorologist, and sometimes I play games. Well, most of the time, like during my weather discussions. And I talk a lot about the weather during my streams, because I am a meteorologist, and I aim to, hopefully, maybe I'll be you guys' meteorologist. Because, I mean, I am a degree meteorologist, by the way, for a real one. Now, about Dressrosa, continuing on. So, what happens is that there's Sabo. He fills in for Luffy and pretends to be Lucy, just so that he can help Luffy get obtain the Fire fruit, just so that guy named Jesus Burgess doesn't get his hands on the Fire fruit, so that he'd become more like his boss, his leader, Blackbeard, whose full name is Marshall D. Deitch. Honestly, I really don't like the guy named Burgess. The guy, dude, the guy is he's a moron. He's just a total lowlife. Who Burgess? Burgess is such a lowlife. I mean, whoever picked him? Blackbeard? I mean, he's more like a pushover to me. He's basically somebody who would get his ass whooped in a lickety split. Just about no more than 5 episodes worth of ass beating. Hold on. All right, I'm back, folks. I had to go to the bathroom while there was so much background noise. So let me take a few sips of water. All right. This time I finished the entire bottle of water. Now let's get back to work. Let me see if I've managed to... Nope. Okay. So anyway, what happened to Burgess and Sabo? Sabo beat Burgess. Yeah, screw Burgess. You can't steal Jesus' name. Yeah, because you've sinned a lot. And Jesus, the real Jesus, doesn't really like it. So Sabo won the competition, then ended up eating the fire fruit, which was Ace's, and now he inherits the Will of Fire. Although his comrades, his friends, did warn Sabo not to eat the Don't fruit, but Sabo already understood, so he was willing to take the risk. So anyway, they'll get more information as members of the Revolutionary Army. While Luffy and the rest of the half of the Straw Hats move on to take on Doflamingo. They wouldn't, and Trafalgar Lawn, as well as Kinemon and his group. So what happens is that Sanji, before the Straw Hats, before the Zoe group, meaning Nami, Chopper, Sanji, and Brook, just sailed away to the island of Zoe for safety. He helped defect Violet, a member of the Tokihoti family, to the royal family because she was kidnapped and was forced to work for the Tokihoti family. and she happens to be a cousin of a girl named Rebecca, the girl with the pink hair, and she happens to be the granddaughter of King Riku. And I'm not talking about the one from Kingdom Hearts. I'm talking about the old man who used to be king of Dressrosa until he was forcefully abdicated by Doflamingo, along with the Don Quixote family. And ever since then, the Don Quixote family seized total control of Dressrosa and then turned any dissenters into toys, and also to wipe away the memories of them from loved ones. Whoops. I don't know why this is happening. And then in the process, let's say, for example, a guy dissents or defies Doflamingo, then the Don Quixote family decides to send in Sugar, a little girl, as member of the Don Quixote family, who would touch the guy and then turns into a toy. But not only that, but his wife would end up losing memory of the guy, and then ended up treating him like a total stranger. And if that toy defies Doflamingo even further, he gets thrown down the can, and then out he goes as trash. I forgot to mention that Punk Hazard was an island that's half hot, half cold. And in the middle, there is a lake, and the Straw Hats just docked at the hot side of Punk Hazard. Then they ventured through the island, and then ended up on the cold side by going through the lake, and then into Caesar Clown's hideout / laboratory. And what about Caesar Clown? Caesar Clown, he's held hostage, but he had to remain in the sunny. But guess what? Not only Big Mom has a bone to pick with the Straw Hats, but she's also looking for Caesar Clown, because she has a huge beef with the guy. The guy owes Big Mom a big favor, and then somehow Caesar Clown just decides to hell with Big Mom. You know, Charlotte Linlin, if you know what I mean, folks. Back at Dressrosa, you have, let's see. So yeah, back at Dressrosa, the plan for... Oh, hold on, that... Alright, I'm back, folks. Yeah, I can't believe I'm talking about One Piece with you guys, and maybe spoiling it for those who plan to watch One Piece. But for those of you who don't watch One Piece or don't plan to, well, I'm giving you guys a fair spoiler. But for those of you who don't want any spoilers, you can just mute the stream until the end of the stream, in which we do the weather topic of the day. Alright, and move on. You know, I have a thought, you guys. I might have a thought that I might try to lure my friends into watching Naruto. Like with me, just to celebrate the 20th anniversary of me watching Naruto for the first time on Cartoon Network back in 2005. I mean, I don't want to be too lonely. Yeah, I'm thinking about coming up with a podcast or something, just to talk about Naruto and my experience of Naruto from back in the day, and to also maybe talk about it with my friends who are willing to watch Naruto with me, just to get a sense of what it's like 20 years ago, but from a kid's perspective, of an 11-year-old's perspective. Because at the time, I was 11 years old when I started watching Naruto, and the thing about it is that Naruto, it was so violent. But yet, as an 11-year-old, well, I wouldn't be too horrified by all that gore, all that blood that's been spilled, the violence. I mean, it's just fantasy violence. But then once I got older, and then once I was done with the Toonami hiatus back in high school, I rewatched the original Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden for a couple of years, and then Boruto, and then recently I just finished Boruto. Still waiting on the Boruto Blue Vortex. I don't know when is it going to come out, but either way, there is a manga that's out now, but I don't know when the animation will get started or when it will be released. In Japan, at least. I mean, because, they're made in Japan. Well, the show is actually made in Japan. Well, nah, sometimes it's made in Japan or Korea, but it's Japanese, though. It's a Japanese show. Sorry about that. But sometimes Koreans might do all the work for the Japanese. I mean, because, because I've seen in the ending credits where some of the animators are from South Korea. Right. Now, back to Dressrosa. Let's see. So the plan for the Straw Hats to remain on Dressrosa, plus Trafalgar Law and Kinemon's group, is that they would try to. Their plan is to undo Sugar's power, but doing that requires the help of the Tontadas, and as well as getting Sugar to be knocked unconscious. And once she's unconscious, then all of her powers will be left undone. And those powers, some of them were on people that have been around, that have been under her spell for years, for about 10 or 11 years. Like under the reign of Doflamingo. But of course, she's protected by Trebol. That slimy piece of shit, named Trouble. Hold on a minute. Alright, I'm back. Now, the Tontadas were at first mischievous. They would steal stuff, but once the Straw Hats, crossed a bridge and they encountered Doflamingo. Yeah, and as well as the Navy, which they found out now. I mean, because the thing is that When the Straw Hats first arrived at Dressrosa, they encountered a blind guy who was gambling, and he happened to be one of the admirals of the world government. Yeah, one of the admirals of the Marines. That place is still burning, and the sun is rising right now in the city. Yeah, we only got about 11 minutes of streaming left. Then once the whole Mexican standoff was through with Doflamingo, Admiral Fujitora, and Law, hold on. Then Usopp and Robin, they ended up. Hold on a minute. All right, I'm back. So Robin and Usopp, they encountered the Tontadas, but have sworn to them that they are not here to wipe them out or anything like that. They are here to take down Doflamingo, and they have the same mission. So, and the thing is that the Tontadas, the little guys, they called well, they were telling a story about the legend of Noland, who became their hero and saved Totoland, which is part of Greenbit. And they actually call Usopp Usaland. Robin Roland, I think. Robiland. Okay, so the Straw Hats will be, let's see, Luffyland, Zoroland, Namiland, of course, Usaland, Sanjaland. Then you have Chopperland, Robiland, Froland. Yeah, Froland and Broland. Of course, what about Jinbei? Well, Jinbei doesn't happen until, like, after the Land of Wano. Then, if there is, then maybe Jinland, or Jinland, or whatever. Or Jiland. Then, let's see. So, the plan was for Usopp to feed Sugar with spices, but he ended up getting caught. But that was not really the plan, though. The real plan was for Usopp to get his ass whooped and then eat the spicy berries. And then, when Usopp was screaming his lungs out, like, because of the fact that he was spicy. Surprisingly, Sugar was totally freaking out, and then she ended up becoming unconscious. And then that is when all hell broke loose against Doflamingo. And then, oh boy, did Doflamingo get a huge dose of being pissed off. He was so pissed off. Yeah, that his true colors was totally revealed. The town rejoiced, but now they're pinning against Doflamingo. And many people who were under Sugar's spell, yeah, they returned back to being normal again. But some of the toys were not only humans; they were animals too. And then the loved ones of those who turned into toys now regained their memories of those people who were turned to toys. It was so funny. I watched that clip on YouTube about seeing Doflamingo becoming super pissed off. It was the best look. It was the best thing for me to see. Seeing Doflamingo super pissed off. And guess what? Afterwards, while the people were ready to take on Doflamingo, he was ready to fight back. So in order to get back at the Straw Hats, he would put bounties on not only the Straw Hats, but also against those who allied with the Straw Hats, like Law and as well as Kinemon's group, and also the royal family. Royal family. Yeah, the royal family of whom Doflamingo took control from them. Oh yeah, but there was one scene when Bellamy, the blonde kid, the big blonde guy, not Sabo, was trying to fight Luffy, but the thing was, Luffy already knew that Bellamy, like, was a good guy, but he was still being used by Doflamingo just to make peace. But now he ended up getting taken down, and Doflamingo had to wipe him out. Then, in the Japanese version of One Piece, I think Luffy yelled out, "Doflamingo!" I mean, I can't really scream that loud because I am at home and someone is home with me. But in the dub version, he just said Mingo. He just yelled out Mingo, and he's ready to kick Mingo's ass. Anyway, at the end of that bounty announcement, the person who got the highest bounty in Dressrosa wasn't Luffy, it was Usopp. And his bounty is in Dressrosa 500 million berries, 5 stars. Because he knew it was Usopp's plan and that it was him who knocked Sugar unconscious. And now, the Straw Hats, especially Law, Kinemon's group, the Revolutionary Army, we're ready to take on the Don Quixote family. Take about a couple episodes for that to happen. So no one really got caught. I mean, it's just that Doflamingo issued an ultimatum in which he used his devil fruit powers where he would turn the entire island of Dressrosa and be locked into what he calls the bird cage, made of strings from his own devil fruit powers, and just closes the just narrows the bird cage. And then the island would shrink, and then everyone inside would be killed along with the Straw Hats. But that also happened when Doflamingo was ready to take on Law and Luffy. Of course, Law had a backstory, and then after that, he got his ass beat, and Luffy was ready to take on Doflamingo. It took about a couple episodes, and he ended up turning into... Well, he ended up learning how to use Gear 4, which is the King Kong one. Then eventually beats Doflamingo just before the entire island was squished. Well, not squished. That the birdcage had destroyed a lot of things and reduced to almost nothing. Alright. Yeah, we'll talk more about One Piece. I just need to finish this off, and then we'll end the stream there. But maybe we'll talk about it in the next episode and continue where we left off. Otherwise, it'll be a whole different topic. I mean, but that's just what I got so far. I talked a lot about about Dressrosa the whole time throughout me playing Minecraft. But right now, I gotta end things here, and the sun is setting right now in the city, and as well as in real life. So, let me just exit here, and let's switch the scene to here. Before we end the stream, folks, we gotta do the weather topic of the day. The weather topic of the day is going to be all about the hottest day on record, but it'll take place in Asia. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on a minute. Just gonna switch to here and change the website to here and change it to here. And this time I'm going to feature it right around. I can't zoom out. Great. Alright, so this is what I got, folks, for now. Okay. This is going to be a short one, folks, so here it goes. Hottest officially recorded temperature in Asia is 54 degrees Celsius or 129 degrees Fahrenheit, which was recorded in Abazaran on June 29th, 2017, and in Tarat Zvi, now Mandatory Palestine, on June 21st, 1942. Yeah. Folks, thing is that, given the politics of what's going on in the Middle East, that part is quite controversial. I don't know if I want to put this out there and, or at least put the captions there, but all I can say is, folks, is that this is what I'm reading off of Google. Hold on a minute, folks. But I think I can try to redo the weather topic of the day. According to Google, not mine. This is according to Google. Sorry about that. Just trying to find the right words to say. This is all according to Google, not according for me. But it does dictate that, I quote, the hottest temperature ever recorded in Asia is 54 degrees Celsius or 129.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which was recorded in Avazerport, Iran on June 29th, 2017, and Tarat Zvi, now mandatory Palestine, on June 21st, 1942. End quote. All right, folks, that's it for the weather topic of the day. But in case if you guys want a different weather topic of the day, I'd be happy to do so right about now. One weather topic of the day. Let me just pull it up right now. Thank you, Isabella, for the follow. Let me just turn back to here. I mean, because some people are going to be upset that, there's Palestine, Israel, a lot of politics here and there. I mean, I'm only focused on the weather, folks, okay? But might as well just go ahead and do a different weather topic of the day, folks. I don't think this will be recorded. But I'll try. But I do have some friends who I can reach out to just to get a bit of a verification on the weather topic of the day, if that'll help. But in the meantime, I really think that it's best for me to consult before I can even consider that the weather topic of the day. But there is something that I do. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I can go back to here. And I might as well just pull up some pollution type of air quality. Okay. Aerosols. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on a minute. All right. Okay. So the new weather topic of the day is what does pollution do to the sunset? Pollution can affect sunsets by making them appear more vibrant, particularly with red and orange hues. This is due to the scattering of light by atmospheric aerosols, which are particles of pollutants like dust, smoke, and industrial emissions. While moderate amounts of pollution can enhance sunset colors, excessive pollution can lead to hazy or muted sunsets. Well, folks, that's it for the weather topic of the day. And because of the fact that I've just screwed up with the original weather topic of the day for today, I might consider asking my friends for advice, on that. I mean, it's only I'd rather better be safe than sorry, if you know what I mean. Yeah, because let's just say politics is in the way, and this is not supposed to be a political stream. All right, I'll see you guys probably. I actually, because of the fact that I changed the weather topic of the day, I might consider changing things up to. Ooh, I don't know. Like, probably I'll stream for you guys on Wednesday instead, not tomorrow. I was gonna do it, but then I realized that I would need consultation with the original weather topic of the day. But let's just say that this is what I got for now. Alright? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. But until then, love y'all. Peace out, everybody. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out. Signing out.